Good morning. Thanks for being here. We are going to get started. So, happy February. Again, thanks for being here. We're so happy to have you here with us today. Today, Jeff Lipes, who's the president of MSIC's CUSO MSIC Partners, is going to talk about the anticipated spring mortgage market now that we're in 2025 and how having access to an exciting or wow product could make all the difference in growing your membership and your pipeline, which is obviously, the key objective of all of our credit unions. Over the years, MSIC has advocated on behalf of our member credit unions, pushing education, collaboration, and we've really tried to emphasize the strategies credit unions need to consider how to thrive and survive and thrive in the industry. And the development of a unique mortgage product is one of these things that we've done on behalf of our credit unions. And Jeff is going to talk about that today. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you, or you can ask the question in the chat box and I can interrupt Jeff on your behalf. If a question comes up during, it's fine. It's easier to answer it then, but we'll also have some time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Jeff. Just give me a second so I can share my screen in the presentation. 1 minute. You just let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
And there you go. Can you see it, Jeff? You good?
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you, Erica. Good morning, everybody. And as Erica said, happy February. I am the head of CUSO operations for MSIC and president of MSIC Partners, which is a fulfillment group that works with about 12 credit unions right now. The goal here today is to talk about one factor to help keep your credit union and credit unions in general very relevant in today's economic situation. So what I want to really talk about is having something that wows a consumer, and hopefully you can take that consumer and have them become a member of your institution. Growing your institution through the new members is a sort of a necessary evil that has to be done right now. So let's go to the next slide and just take a look at where we've come from. Credit unions, the number of credit unions has declined significantly over the last 10 to 15 years, 30% decline. And a lot of that is due to because of shrinking membership. 8 people that are aging out and passing away, and the new younger millennials are not necessarily joining credit unions. So what do we have to do in the credit union industry to try to attract younger members and new members to come to our organization? And some of it is things that are very expensive, which are having very, very sophisticated technology. And some of it can be simpler, which is developing a product that's a wow product. The nice thing for you guys is you don't even have to worry about what the wow product is, because MSIC has developed it, and it is called the TRIM product. So let's go to the next slide and talk about using one of your advantages. Credit unions have an advantage because all the ones that we provide fulfillment right now for, and probably most of you, don't sell every single mortgage you get in the secondary market to the Federal Home Loan Bank or Fannie or Freddie. A number of you do keep some of the mortgages in your own portfolio. So how do you take that portfolio and how do you leverage it, and how do you make it so that you can beat up on your competition, especially the independent mortgage bankers who do not have any assets with which to put something on their portfolio? So that was sort of the strategy to say, what can we do to leverage the credit union's advantage and come up with something that will help bring new members to your institution. Let's take a look at last year. Go to the next slide. Fortune magazine just published January 25th of last month that U.S. home sales in 2024 were the lowest they've been in almost 30 years. Traditionally, credit unions do better when it's a refinance market than they do in a purchase market. And we all know that interest rates right now have sort of eliminated most of the refinances, unless there's some special circumstance like divorce or something like that. So the credit unions really need to figure out, how do they survive? How do they do more business when it's more of a purchase market? And now you add to the fact that we had a very low purchase market last year, but we are anticipating that coming into 2025, that inventory will pick up a little, that hopefully interest rates will ease a little, and that there will be a little bit stronger purchase market. Let's go to the next slide. So what we decided to do was, let's come up with a product that we think you guys, your credit union, can market and create that wow factor. We came up with what I think is a clever acronym called TRIM, standing for the Rate Improver Mortgage. And we think that this product, if you market it, whether you get people that actually take the product or not, you'll still create a buzz around your credit union community, where people will start talking about it and saying, wow, I've heard that this credit union has this unique product. We've seen many people come and talk to credit unions about the TRIM product, and they've ended up with a different product, which is fine. It still brought them to your credit union, and that's the goal of what we want to do. So let's talk a little bit more about this TRIM product. It is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage that allows the member to modify or float down their rate one time during the first 5 years, without having to pay any closing costs. Now, can that be done today? There are some community banks and things like that nature that will modify a note for a borrower, but they don't market it and they don't go out and talk about it. So we decided that let's come up with this product that we can market and get it out to the community and let them know what's going on. So far, since we've launched the product, we've had 80 applications that have come in on the TRIM product. Out of those 80 that have come in, we've had 50% of them be pre-qualifications, which means those people are hoping to buy a home, but don't have a home right now in mind, and they like the product. So it's creating activity along that nature. 25% of the business that came in either ended up with a different product, or decided that, or we decided that they weren't going to be able to be pre-qualified. And the other 25% have closed and are now enjoying the benefits of the TRIM mortgage. For all of you, it depends upon your feelings on the economic situation. Interest rates right now are up to almost 7%, high sixes. If you or your members or your potential borrowers think that interest rates may drop in the next 5 years, then the TRIM product really should get their attention. Why? Because if you have to refinance your mortgage, you're going to typically pay $4,000 to $6,000 of closing costs. So why not get this program that has this unique option where they can do it for free? All right, let's look at the next one. The starting rate, if you sign up to offer the TRIM product with MSIC, what you do is you're able at the credit union to set your own start rate. We have some lenders that set it at the same rate as their 30-year fixed, and we have some lenders that set it a little bit higher than their 30-year fixed rate. It sort of depends upon what your ultimate goal is there. If you're trying to attract new members, then the closer it is to your 30-year fixed rate, I think the better it will to be attract members. If you're trying to create yield and improve your earnings, then having it a little bit higher may be the right way to price it. But you get to decide how you want to do that. So it is not set by MSIC. What we do is if you decide that you don't want to set the rate, you just want to follow what is the sort of the index that we're going to use, then we would set the rate for you manually once a week, tying it to Freddie Mac's Primary Mortgage Market Survey, or acronym PMMS, and I'll go into that in a second. And you are also able, if you wanted to either have or not have loan level pricing adjusters added to the base rate that you set, for the trim product. All right, so let's talk about, next slide, the modification rate. So the borrower closes on your trim loan. 3 or 4 years down the road, they call you and they say they see that rates have dropped and they want the lower rate. What do we look at to see what that lower rate is? Well, the index that every lender, every credit union has to use on this trim program is the Freddie Mac 30-year primary mortgage market rate, rounded down to the closest eighth, without any loan level pricing adjusters. So what is the primary mortgage market survey? Let's go to the next slide and we'll talk about that. All right, for those of you who don't know, it is a weekly average of all the rate locks that have come in to Freddie Mac from the previous week. Now, they use the week from Thursday to Wednesday, so every Thursday at noon, they'll update what that average is. This week right now, that average is 6.95. So 6.95, we round down to the closest eighth. So 6 7/8 would be the rate a borrower would get if they floated down today, because we're tying it to that index. Why is that index a good index? For a couple of reasons. First of all, it's been around for 40 or 50 years, so you can see where rates have been for the last 40, 50 years if you wanted to sort of do that for historical purposes. But more importantly, when the borrower closes, rather than having them have to call the credit union every month or every few months to find out what your rates are, you just tell them, and we tell them in the disclosures, here is the website that you would go to, which is freddiemac.com/PMMS. And you can look at that. You can look at that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when you see that rate that you like, then you can contact the credit union and ask for that rate. This will hopefully eliminate them from calling your mortgage department and saying, where are rates today, where are rates today, where are rates today. So it puts it right back in their hands. You have no obligation to inform them that rates dropped. It's their job with which to monitor. And once they do drop and they see a rate that they like, they can call you. And we all we look at that. It's a national index, so it doesn't change from city to city or state to state. And that's the rate they would get, rounded down to the closest eighth, with no risk-based or loan level pricing adjusters. Next slide. What type of property is the trim product eligible for? We want these to be high quality, and we're seeing high quality and high quality borrowers and high quality products. So we've said it's got to be a single family owner occupied dwelling or a owner occupied mortgageable condo. If somebody wants to do a second home or investment home, the trim product is not available to them. So we're trying to have it, because we know this is going on your portfolio, trying to have it be a very solid loan that there's no repayment or very, very limited repayment risk on these types of product. Next slide. How are we underwriting the loans? Well, all the loans will be underwritten to agency standards, but you as the credit union, since you're putting it on your portfolio, you have the option to waive any condition or exception that you want to make to the guidelines. You can't make an exception to say, now I'll allow it to be investment versus owner occupied, but you can say, you know what, the borrower hasn't been a self-employed for 2 full years. They've only been employed for 1 year. We'll still use their income to help qualify. That may not meet agency guidelines, but if you're comfortable with it, then that's fine, and we'll move forward with the TRIM loan. The other thing is when they go do their modification, when they call up in that first 5 years to see if they want to lower their rate, there is no additional underwriting done at that time, and that's a big benefit. There's no appraisal that has to be done. If they change jobs or anything along that nature, we don't have to re-verify all that. It's just a phone call, and then the modification is done. Next slide. The product guidelines, we set a ceiling of $800,000 loan amount. The reason being is we want to try to maximize how many new members you can bring in versus how much you're putting on your portfolio. So if we allowed somebody to do $1 million or more, then it would eat up more of your portfolio. So we decided to pick a cap that was an easy round number of 800,000. With a 95% maximum loan to value. Obviously, they have to get mortgage insurance when it's over 80, and a minimum FICO score of 620. So the hope here would be is you get a lot of $400,000 loans or $500,000 loans versus versus 800, because if you set at your institution, say, you're willing to do X amount on your portfolio, then you can develop a lot more members when you do more units than you do if it's higher loan amounts. Next guideline. All right, leads and marketing. This is the first time in the history of MSIC that they have decided to advertise directly to the marketplace, to the consumer, and to consumers' referral sources. So MSIC is doing marketing. Most of that marketing is done via social media and emailing, but there are some additional things. For instance, I know in the Boston area, some advertising was on the T, things along that nature. And that's all free, that you are not paying for. So it's just marketing the TRIM program in general and trying to make awareness and trying to get consumers interested in saying, geez, where can I get this TRIM program? And our analytics that we've seen have a very good click-through rate. If we were rating our click-through rate from 1 being bad to 10 being high, we're running about an 8 on that. So people are clicking and engaging, which is good to see. Now, you can also do your own advertising at the credit union level. We will provide you, if you become a TRIM provider, we will provide you with marketing material to put in your branches, to put on your teller stations and things along that nature. As an initial setup for free, for no cost for you with which to market this program. So again, we developed the product, and we're giving you the ads, and we're helping you with the leads. I don't know how you're going to find it any easier than this. Now, if a lead happened to come into MSIC rather than to you directly, what we will do is we'll look at where they are trying to purchase, and whatever credit unions that are participating in TRIM or that are in that field of membership, we will then give the potential borrower the names of all of the credit unions and let them make the decision on which one they want to choose. Next one. Fulfillment. In order to participate in this program, you would be originating the loan, and then MSIC Partners has to provide the fulfillment on this product. Now, some of you might say, well, that we want to do it on our own. We want to do it on our own. Well, the caveat here is that the product was developed, the product is marketed, and everything, and you're required to use MSIC Partners for providing fulfillment on this product. We have out of the 12 lenders that we have right now, some of them are just using us for the TRIM product. The benefit that they got on this was we got to look at exactly what disclosure package they were sending out. We went through them. We gave them our suggestions of how they can improve those. And then we got buy-in and we got agreement. And now we've streamlined almost every credit union that we worked with disclosure packages. And that we've made them very compliant and very streamlined. So that's a benefit just by agreeing to offer the TRIM product. What MSIC Partners does is after you take the loan, go back on that. Yeah, after you take the loan, we disclose it, process it. We'll make an underwriting recommendation to you. You still have the authority to say yay or nay, and you have the authority to waive any conditions or whatever, and that's fine. Then we'll close the loan, post-close each loan, for you for our normal fee. The credit union is still responsible, though, to price the loan. So you're setting the initial rate. You're making the underwriting decision based on our recommendation. You're going to fund the loan and service the loan. Next item. In reference to the modification does not have to be recorded to be legal. So that's why there's really no cost to you, no additional cost to you, unless you want to record the modification. The lenders that we're using right now have made the decision not to record the modification, but you could if you wanted to, and you can't pass that cost on to the borrower that's taking the TRIM. That would be your cost because it's an option rather than a requirement. Next slide. All right. So in conclusion, we believe that the best way to grow your membership right now is through a WOW product, and that WOW product is a mortgage product. There's a big pent-up demand of people that want to buy a home. They're just waiting for inventory to come out, and they're hoping that interest rates come down, and this product will tell them, hey, you don't have to wait for interest rates to come down. You take it, and you get the lower rate when they do come down. So we encourage every credit union employee to market mortgages within and outside of their credit union, to current members and to anyone that may be a potential member. Suggestions would be set up some contests to reward employees who successfully drive mortgage volumes to credit unions. It's you can do campaigns. If you have a lot of walk-in traffic, you can do campaigns at the teller window. If you don't, then you have to figure out with your marketing group how you can try to create a successful employee contest within your own organization. So I do hope that you see the benefits in this. And as I say, even if the potential member doesn't take the TRIM product and they take another product, it's a great way with which to grow your membership. So with that, I think we'll stop and see if anybody listened and anybody has any comments.
Let me see, Jeff. Great presentation. We do have a question. Just hang on. I have to just get out of the screen so I can see it. So the question is, how long does the onboarding process take?
It's typically 60 days to do an onboard. When I say typically 60 days, what you do is you sign an agreement that you're going to offer the TRIM product, and then we ask you to provide us with sample packages of what you have, and we go through and then we set up the system private labeled for your institution, and we go back and forth with you testing until you sign off on the documents saying that everything is in line with what you and your compliance team agree to. And typically that is about a 60-day process.
And Jeff, how many users do we currently have?
12. I mean, we have 12 participating lenders that use us, but out of those that are doing the TRIM, we have 8 that are doing the TRIM.
Right. Great. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? So thanks for sitting in with us today. And we hope that, we've been pushing the trim product for the last several months, and we hope that you take advantage of your membership with MSIC, which is, what makes trim kind of special, and what it has to offer to your institution. Jeff and his team are standing by to get your credit union onboarded. As you just heard, it's a 60-day process. So if you're interested, this is the time to sign up before the busy season is upon us. It's coming. You reach out. You have any questions? You have any anything, any comments? We're here to help you. So please do reach out. As far as upcoming webinars, last week MSIC held its 63rd annual meeting, and one of our speakers, our keynote speaker, was Dr. Jessica Gamache. She's head of research at Faline Research Institute. Kind of complements what Jeff was just talking about, but she spoke to the cooperative regarding shared services, which continues to be an important topic within our membership. And it also really speaks to why our CUSO, MSIC partners, hold so many opportunities for credit unions. It also directly correlates with the future of the credit union movement. So what we're going to do is rebroadcast her presentation on Wednesday, February 26th at 10 a.m. to share that with those who weren't able to attend the annual meeting. And those details will come to you shortly, as well as what's up ahead for the rest, lined up for the rest of spring for our webinars. Jessica's presentation was excellent. It was full of data providing, proving the shared service model. And, we encourage you and your staff to attend and participate. And again, that information will be coming to you shortly. And with that, we thank you for being here today. Jeff, thanks for the presentation. If anyone wants a copy of Jeff's presentation, of course, reach out, and Jeff, again, is standing by, ready to answer your questions and get you signed up for TRIM and for the CUSO. So that is it. Thanks, Jeff, very much. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.